while looking specific. Specific. Interesting. Word choice.
Mr. Fancy Man. This is Mr. Fancy Man hanging out, doing another podcast at 1:49 a.m. So we never sleep. Obviously, look at him. He's businessman 24 hours a day.
Day in, day out. I look this good all the time.
He wishes. He never looks that good.
Sad truth about it.
I hope my mother never watches these so she realizes I still smoke in my room. Continuing on. So, are you Mr. Perverted Man in the suit today?
No. And it's funny because I actually got a couple of looks at me today at the bar. Like, oh, you look like that guy from that movie. I'm like, oh, like Fury? Like, I look like fucking,
Brad Pitt?
No, I thought I looked like that dickhead from 50 Shades of Grey. And I'm like,
Well, I mean, he did get some nice pussy, and he got to beat up a girl sometimes.
I like rough sex. Rough sex is nice, they like to be dominated just a wee bit, but, can't say that I've ever brought the ropes or toys into it. I just,
I have.
I like normal sex, I guess, if that's what... If BDSM is one thing, then I guess normal sex would be the other nomenclature for the sex that I'd be having.
Doesn't it get boring, though?
I mean, not really, because I can fuck with them, and they can fuck with me, but I don't have to tie them up and smack them in the face with a dildo.
Well, you don't have to smack them in the face with a dildo.
I mean, I guess I don't have to. I could put a little butt plug up their ass, but I don't know. I just... Experimenting with me was like, alright, let me just punch you once. And she's like, yeah, that's good. And I'm like, alright, I'm done with that, because all of a sudden you're going to start calling me daddy, and I'm going to be beating the shit out of you, and then my grandmother's going to come downstairs while we're having sex, and I'm not going to have the fucking words to explain it to her. Could you imagine if I had her all tied up and fucking... no. So, I like to sex, regular sex, is what I'm gonna...
I think you should try it, though. It's a great time. There's no better feeling than tying up a girl and then just walking away to go smoke a cigarette. And just, like, you see her torture in her face.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about rape, but...
You can't rape the willing.
True, and you can't rape a chick if the lights are on. Because then it's just surprise sex. But,
It's not really a surprise if she knows it's coming.
I just never understood the allure to it. I talked to a friend of mine who is into that.
She'll be on this soon.
And said all the release was into being suspended from the fucking ceiling, all tied up and shit.
Yeah,
there was never a dick in your pussy, so...
I mean,
where did you get off? And then my counter question was, alright, so you got off like that. All power to you, chick. But where was the guy getting off? And the response, and the response was he knows what he's doing 2 steps ahead of the time, just tying the fuck up out of bitches. And I'm like, that sounds fun.
I personally
all
fuck
right,
them
so
while
let's
being tied
fucking
up.
tie them up. But all I'm just saying is, like, how are you getting off on a thing that's getting somebody else off that's not involving your dick? Because maybe I'm old school. Maybe I just like to shove my dick into the back of somebody's girl's throat. Like, cool.
You can do that while she's tied up.
But they don't like that. They just want to be tied up.
Then that's not a girl that I would ever tie up.
That's the extent of being tied up, and I'm like,
Then they are the prudes of the BDSM world.
And look at us making fucking conjectures on something that we know nothing about.
First of all, I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. It's a grand time.
I just like sticking my dick in something that's warm and soft.
Usually gooey. Yeah, I'll go in dry just to tear it apart.
If you haven't showered in a couple days and it's gooey, yeah, I'm not going down on you, but I'll stick it.
I'm more of a fan of the squirters, personally.
It's all piss.
Sure. It comes out of the pussy.
It's piss.
It comes out of the pussy.
It's piss. I've never been pissed in my face.
It's happened to me a few times. You might even smell the beard. It might smell like that still.
Doesn't smell like piss. But then again, it doesn't smell like pussy, so...
Damn it, I think I washed my face afterwards. Usually it gets all everywhere, and then you feel a little bit gross on the inside, because usually you only feel that down here, but it's on your face instead.
Yeah, I think one of the most fucked up squirting stories that I ever heard was from my father. And we don't normally exchange stories, but he came home drunk one night, and I was drunk as well, and he goes, "Heard you had a girl over," and I was like, "I did have a girl over." You know, she a squirter. I'm like, I just don't believe that's any of your information. And he goes, "No, but like, isn't it great?" And here I am, sitting with one squirting experience where, yeah, it was fun, but did I have a great time about it? Not so much. And I'm like, "No, Dad, no, what's that all about?" And he was like, when going down on a chick and all of a sudden she just like, exfoliates your face was the word he used. And I'm like, exfoliates your face? So she, with her piss, opened up all the fucking pores in your face, and you like that? That's my father.
So he liked it.
Oh yeah, clearly. He is I wouldn't say he is a sick man.
Well, at least we got something in common.
I think yeah.
I don't know if I could ever hang out with a girl that isn't a squirter again.
I don't know. It's like
I feel like I wasn't doing it.
I had my trial and tribulation. Well, no, I
doing it the right way anymore. I feel like I would feel less. You know what I mean? You used to like being so good, we're just like, and now it's just like a little bit. It'd be it's like dropping a nuke and then just dropping a regular fucking bomb on somebody.
So it's like Tsar Bomba, dropping it right into the middle of your motherland. And then it's like dropping Hiroshima. You're like, yeah, it killed 2 million people, but
it's not as fun.
It didn't almost kill the fucking person that dropped it, so...
Yeah, it's just like, it's useless. I would feel broken. I feel like I would be less of a man afterwards. But that's just me personally.
It is.
Or then I'd just be on a personal crusade to try and make every girl squirt.
Not every girl can.
And then I would feel like I would fail most of the time, because not every girl can.
Don't even talk about failing, man. I fucking hooked up with the chick that couldn't get off vaginally. I want to talk about disappointing. You fucking drilling a chick through the entirety of a hour-and-a-half movie, and she's like, "Just lick my pussy and I'll get off." I'm like, but I was just, what the fuck is wrong with you? Some chicks are just wired differently. Actually, all chicks are wired differently, but that one in particular. Chicks that can't get off vaginally are just the biggest turn-offs to sex, I suppose.
I mean, could they get off anally? That'd be pretty sweet.
Nah, she was pretty against it. I went there.
That's a shame, though.
Yeah, some chicks just don't understand.
I mean, I understand you don't want to give up the ass every day. But every full moon, you should be able to switch back and forth.
That's why I have...
It's like a recycle.
Almost an analogy towards it. It's like, I go to my favorite pizza place. And what do I get 9 times out of 10? Buffalo chicken calzone. And you know what? Every time that I eat it, I am satisfied thoroughly. But there are those times where I walk in there and I'm just like, today, I want to change it up a little bit. I want a cold Italian with all the hots on it. And that's how I try to, bring it up as anal. It's like, I like that all the time. And don't get me wrong, I love it. You love it. It's great. But just that one time out of 10,
you need to spice it up every now and then.
Exactly.
And then if you don't,
and then they go, oh, you're gross. You like to fuck chicks in the ass? Well, yeah.
some girls try to associate like, what are you, gay? No, I'm not gay because I want to fuck you in the ass. Like, how does that make someone gay? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I see it on both sides, but you know, it's not even the same thing when you fucking chick, because it's like
She still has tits.
it's almost like a fucking straight up dominance thing. It's like, oh yeah, no, I want to explore all of you, and if you don't let me,
We're gonna go explore somebody else. Basically, what it comes down to. As bad as that sounds.
you won't do it, but I know somebody that will.
You're gonna be a bitch and hit this? Hit the elephant. He barely smokes anything anymore. He's no cool anymore. He's on the straight and narrow. Look, he's wearing a suit.
It's not a suit.
It's more or less a
It's
suit.
just a shirt, and it's just a tie.
With a pea coat. I didn't know you were in that movie. Twilight.
Navy corpsmen wear peacoat.
Who the fuck is that?
Anyone in the Navy?
Well, you know what they say about the Navy guys. They're usually gay. So needless to say, I think if you wore a peacoat out, you have a higher chance of a gay man hitting on you than if you don't wear a peacoat out. Can we assume that?
Honestly, I don't like to personify stereotypes, but I think the safe assumption would be yeah.
I don't like
correct.
stereotypes either, but 9 times out of 10, they're usually right.
Anyhow, story time.
What do you want to tell? What are you got a story about? What is your most fucked up adventure in high school?
Most fucked up adventure in high school. That encompasses 5 years.
Well, yeah. Well,
I
that's
know.
one long story.
I was one of them.
Maybe
It took me a wee bit to get out.
one time you could do a monologue of yourself, just doing day one till like now. It would be like a mini
You know what?
memoir.
I'll save the best for that, but I'll give you one. I think as a freshman, let's keep it crime unrelated. So one time I was at a party with a bunch of
Is this the white picket fence story? All right.
so I was at a party.
Do you think if you tell stories from your childhood and you're underage, it counts as underage porn? Like
If somebody else enjoys it, I suppose.
Like if you wrote it down in a story, and they played with themselves to the story.
That right there in itself is fucked up, but
But you know what I'm talking about? Because I
do.
feel like, is that bad?
yeah, it's really fucking bad.
All right, continue.
So I was at a party one time, and freshman year of high school, I was dating a chick, I guess. That's how I would go about that. Dating a chick at the time. And she was not into the norm, and by not into the norm, it's...
She was one of those girls that allowed you to have that Italian sub a little bit too often.
She liked whatever. If I have to put context to it. She was the girl that met up with me after a party one time, and I took her virginity in the backyard of some guy's house that we have never been to before. It was literally almost in the woods, and she just had it out, and that's how she lost it. So anytime, we're at a party, and I say, look, I'm drunk, you're fucking drunk, and I want to have sex. She goes, let's have sex. I'm like, let's go over there and have sex so no one's looking at us. She goes, yes, let's go over there and have sex so no one's looking at us. So I take her behind the white picket fence.
Which is along the road, by the way.
Well, I mean, the household was all along the road, but the fence was adjacent to the road. We were pretty far down, so it's not like you could drive by and be like, "Hey, look, minors having sex." No, so like we were having sex down there, and it just happened to be one of those times where I was like, "Hey,
How soon after she lost her virginity did she allow the back door?
month."
A month? Okay.
So
Just wanted to make
I'm down
just-
there, and I had 9 times out of 10 my buffalo chicken kills on. I was like, "Shit, babe, look, this, what we're doing here, awesome." But I want a little bit more. She's like, "All right, well, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "Bear with me. I'm gonna spit on your asshole, and then I'm gonna put my dick in it." And she's like, "We're at a party. Like, I don't know if this is." And I'm like, "Hey, baby.
Can you do the voice a little bit? It's like high pitched. It's like kind of like this.
No, I'm not into the voice, but I was like, baby.
For those pedophiles out there.
Stop. Just listen to me. We're going strong, right? Like, we're gonna be together forever, because that's what you did when you were a freshman. You're just like, "Oh, I love you. Oh, I love you too."
And they're usually not.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, "Hey, come on. What's the worst that could happen?" She's like, "Yeah, you know what? What's the worst that could happen?" So, I go,
Get shit on your dick.
thumb it on in there. Someone balls deep in this chick's asshole, and all of a sudden she's like, this sucks. And I'm like, "For whom? You? No. Maybe. Me? Yeah. So I agreed to stop. Sucked me off until I finished, and
She went ATM? She went ATM at a very young age.
I had a white picket fence. I did you. So
It's a lot of colors.
Oh, we walked back to the party, and everyone's like, "Oh, you guys fucked," and I'm like, "Yeah, dude."
I remember those days. They all like basically gave you
Got the
like
deed done, and everyone's fucking high fiving, and like, "Yeah, this is great." And then it was the fateful call from you that was like, "Hey, I'm on a mish," and I'm like, "Let's go get it." And I can't leave my chick here though. Let's bring her. All right, let's do it. Picks us up.
Who was I? Was I with anybody or was I riding solo?
You were riding solo.
That happened a lot back then. I like those days.
Kid drunk as piss. I'm not gonna get into that because
Drunk driving underage is a bad idea.
no, and then the actions after it were just horrendous. But so we're riding back home.
I mean, what could ever happen that was good when you say, "Hey, I'm on a mission, come pick you up"?
Yeah, I don't know. It's nothing sexual. I mean, it wasn't good at all, but it wasn't sexual. So it's like it's not like a gangbang that we didn't spit roast there. So it drops
Probably
us.
should have.
That's neither here nor there. So drops us off back at the house. I fall asleep. I had a great night. Got some anal. Blew in a chick's mouth. Got drunk. Did some things. It was a great time. Wake up the following morning. I'm itching my nutsack like a fucking fiend. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? And this was back in the high school days, so you had to have your package clean, fucking shaven. As the day you were born, you weren't getting any, because if you had any bush, chicks were like, "Man." So I'm looking down.
Isn't that weird how it changed?
It
now
is.
now it's okay.
No, I mean it's not like I have an unruly bush, but I
Yeah.
trim it down. I make it look like I'm not a fucking child. But I'm looking down at my nuts, dude, and all I see is like 3 claw marks, like going up from like the side of my sack all the way up to my hip, and I'm like, that's a fucking rash. And I'm like, God damn, like I'm not allergic to much. What could that have been? I got a call about 2 hours later that day, girlfriend at the time, going, "I can't shit." And I'm like, I don't know, wait, what do you do? Drink prune juice? You want me to come over? I'll give you a smoke, like get the process going. She goes, "No, it's not that I can't shit. It's that I can't shit." Now you're really stumping me because you could shit, but you can't shit. What are you?
What's stopping her?
What are you trying to convey to me? And she goes, no, it's not that I can't shit. It's that my entire pussy asshole region is covered in poison ivy, and I'm so afraid to shit, to get shit inside of the infection that is in this. And I'm like, wow, you know, that's bad. And then I'm like, hey, can I call you right back? Hang up the phone, take my phone, hum it through a fucking wall, and I'm like, God fucking damn it, what did I do? What the fuck did I do last night? And I'm looking down at this rash, and I'm like, this is horrible. Jump in the shower, turn on the fucking water, it's soap fucking flying everywhere, hop out. I'm using my clothes as a goddamn towel. I'm like looking all over my dick. I'm like turning it upside down, like fucking looking everywhere. Couldn't find a fucking thing, so I'm thinking, there might be a God. There might be a God. I don't know, because like I got this, but I don't have that, and I don't have whatever the fuck going on over there. So I call her back. I'm like, hey baby. So reiterate what we spoke upon earlier. She goes, I can't shit because there's poison ivy